cover of the docket.
Yes, I do.
And then if we go to 3898, that is your A1.
Yes, ma'am.
If you go to 3899, you see the commissioner's stamp.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you see the time?
It's 1:30.
1:30.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So work off that timeline.
So if I got to the police station around about midday, I would have spent about an hour there. I think that I'm not far off. I'm not far off.
Okay. So it's 1:30. So what happens between 1:30 and 8 o'clock the next morning?
I'm told by General Lincoln they're trying the same stunt again. That is exactly what...
You're told?
Oh, please repeat that.
I'm told by General Lincoln that they're trying to intercept the dockets again. Now, Commissioner, if I can just put it into context for you. I just want to show you something. I actually wasn't going to mention this, but if you will allow me, sorry. There's a case, Kales River case. It's 771 of 10/2010. This is a rape case against a senior general. It's never been investigated. The docket has been shelved.
Maybe that has happened.
No, I just...
No, let me say, because we do have limited time, so, and I think you do have a lot of things that you would like to share, but let's come back to the question. Maybe what you're about to start now has happened, but that's not what we are discussing. You're being asked a specific question by the chair. What were you saying General Lincoln said to you?
General Lincoln told me, and I wouldn't be able to tell you the time, but on the same day, and if I want to quote him, he said something along these buggers just won't stop. They're about to do it again. Those were the words, and that prompted me to mail the minister. Now, as I sit here, if indeed they were planning to confiscate the dockets, the minister would be the right office to email. It would be the right place to call. That's why the minister's there.
But that's not what you say in paragraph 4.
Paragraph 4 of?
Of the letter to the minister.
Can I see?
3978.
3978. You're not saying they are about to do the same thing they did in the Western Cape. You say they've done the same thing. They're interfering in the investigation, in the investigative process, and this is less than 24 hours after you laid the complaint, and you represent to the minister that your dockets have been intercepted in Gauteng. That can't be, because your explanation now is General Lincoln said to you they're about to do that. So you were misleading the minister in paragraph 4 if you tell him that they have intercepted your Gauteng dockets. Because your explanation now is General Lincoln said to you they're about to do that. Why do you say to the minister, less than 24 hours after you laid the charge, why do you say to the minister, what happened in the Western Cape has now happened in Gauteng, when that is false?
I think I preempted that, to be honest with you, Commissioner. I'm saying I have also been notified that Gauteng Police Department has followed the same modus operandi, which means they're taking the dockets or have taken the dockets, which I think is out of context on my side. It is not a deliberate attempt to mislead the minister. It is me saying to the minister, please act. That is what I'm saying. Please act.
So you accept that General Lincoln, if he is the one that spoke to you, you accept that General Lincoln didn't say to you, the Gauteng police have intercepted your dockets. You accept that?
No. Yes, he didn't say they've taken, sorry, not no to you. He didn't say they've taken the dockets.
Yes, and so what is in paragraph 4 is in fact false.
No,
that you say to the minister, it may not have been your intention, you're explaining it now, but we are now looking at the text of what you said to the minister, and I just want to simply clarify beyond doubt that paragraph 4, to the extent that in its terms it says the police in Gauteng are doing exactly what happened with your dockets in Cape Town, was in fact false.
I will concede that I could have worded it better,
Okay.
Commissioner. I could have, and maybe I should stop being in such a rush with everything. I could have worded this better.
All right, thank you.
But you are a member of parliament and you don't give this process any chance. You draw conclusions based on what somebody who has no involvement in this investigation. He has absolutely no involvement. In fact, he's the one that says to you, go to Orlando, and I've got a guy that's going to help you. So you should be able to trust that process. Now he comes to you and he says to you in the same breath, they're trying to do the same thing. Why don't you say to him, but what are you basing this on? You're the one that said to me, go to Orlando.
I didn't ask him that, but my process, my thought process is that a general's a lot more powerful than a colonel. It was a colonel that helped us, and from where we're standing, it is people right at the top that are taking the dockets. That is my understanding.
But you don't know that, right? You don't know it as a fact. And my point is that you stand in a position of trust. You are a member of parliament. Surely you understand what comes with that role. You have access to the minister. You are actually abusing your position as a member of parliament to report this matter to the minister, where there are legitimate cases, and I don't disagree with you there, of dockets going missing, where exhibits, important exhibits like firearms and projectiles and all of that goes missing with the docket. Your docket has no evidence. It is just an A1 statement. You don't even provide documentary evidence to substantiate your allegations, and yet you go to the minister using your position as a member of parliament to have him do what? Intervene. The very thing that you want to prevent in your cases, you want the minister to do that. You want him to intervene in an investigation that you are not giving a chance. Can you see what the problem is?
I can half agree with what you're saying, but I've sent the minister's office 2, maybe 3 emails going on 3 years. I have access to the minister. I don't abuse it. This, in my view, was serious. This, in my view, is people trying to stop people, us holding people accountable. This, in my view, was necessary. And you may hold a different view. But I did not abuse the minister, and I certainly did not ask the minister to get involved in the investigative process. I asked the minister, and if you read paragraph 5, to intervene and ensure the integrity of the investigative process. That's all I'm asking. Now, was the investigative process, was it being allowed? In my view, no. In the view of the commissioners, yes. And it's up to them to make that determination. But I feel that as a member of parliament, I had every right to send that email, as I had every responsibility to lay that case. I hear you, advocate, when you say that my docket only holds an A1 statement. I'm being told that I must handle the information. If I put it in the docket for anyone to see, I would have been guilty of mishandling the information. I kept the information intending to give it to the investigating officer.
Mr. Adams, but the investigative process hasn't even started yet. And you're already telling the minister that that it's being interfered with. It hasn't started. There hasn't even been an investigating officer assigned to this.
Advocate, if I may, I explained yesterday. I'm surrounded by people whose murder dockets and rape dockets have disappeared. This is a reality to me. I understand you may not understand that, but I'm asking you to indulge me that stolen dockets are what we deal with.
If your docket was stolen, your 3 dockets, you could easily just go and do 3 more dockets because it had nothing in it. It was A1 statements. That's all it was.
The question that I would like to ask is, well, I can't ask the commission questions, but I'm going to state that it's not necessary for anyone to open 3 cases on the same issue. It should
I
be
agree
investigated
with you, and you shouldn't have done it. I agree with you. You shouldn't have. You should have allowed the Cape Town process to run its course. You had no basis to even go to Orlando. And then when you get to Orlando, you don't even give that process. It's hardly been registered on the system, and already you're sending an email to the minister. And that is why General Mkwanazi says, at the crack of dawn, you're sending an email to the minister. You have just lodged the charges the day before.
What General Mkwanazi doesn't say is that the dockets ended up in a safe in Pretoria.
And we'll get to that process, and you know very well why it ended up there. It was part of the process that you initiated because you complained to the minister.
We'll explain that when we get there.
Yes.
Mr. Adams, the problem is the appearances of all of this, that, and going back, you start with documents that come in under your door. You don't know who gave you the documents. You act on the documents, and I'm not questioning it for purpose of what I'm saying now, that I'm not saying you shouldn't have acted. You act on the documents, you go and lay a charge. And the very next day, you're already saying, I've been told that the dockets have been intercepted by someone who's not in a position to speak for themselves because they're not here. And you say, I then go to Orlando. That person makes arrangements for you that you should go and meet. So you get special